So a virus is a classification of a bad program. What we mean by that is there are bad programs that are out there and we classify them. So we classify them by what they do, what their behavior is. And a virus is a bad program that we have classified, and we classify it based on some of these things right here. So a virus is something that attacks your computer, and it's triggered by something. So you have to do something for a virus to attack you. You take a thumb drive and you put it in your computer, and that may trigger it. It's often opening something off that thumb drive, but sometimes it's just putting that thumb drive into your computer. It can be opening a zip file. A lot of viruses will hide in a zip file to make them harder for a program that is scanning against them to find them. So they hide it in the zip file. You can open the zip file and get hit by the virus. Sometimes it's in an email. Emails are sent from one computer to the next, from one person to the next, and it's a great way for a virus to get off of the computer that it's on and onto your computer is by going across the internet. So they find a way to put the virus in the email, so the email will, or the virus will hit you when that email is opened or you do something with the attachment. Viruses exploit bugs. So everything has bugs. A bug is a mistake that was built into the program on accident. Usually it's something that was not meant to be there, and they find it after a while. They're like, oh man, look what we did. We have this problem that if you do the wrong thing with the wrong time, it can actually be used to attack you. So people find these bugs after the program gets older and older. They're like, oh, here's another one. Oh, look, here's another one. These bugs can be in the operating system or in the different programs that are on your computer, and the virus will exploit them. And it exploits them with the intent of doing damage to your computer. Protecting from viruses, that's a great thing. It's what we want to do. An antivirus program is supposed to do that. It's only somewhat helpful though. There's a lot of antivirus programs out there and they do a pretty good job, but there are viruses that get through regardless of what happens. Antivirus program is never 100% effective. Old viruses, really old viruses can get through, and even absolutely new viruses that have just come out yesterday, your antivirus program doesn't always catch those. So your laptop or your phone just may not be protected by these programs. So what we're trying to do then is develop good habits. The habits are what are going to keep you protected the absolutely best. You can have these programs, but someday the programs are not going to be functional. You can have the programs and they're going to be working on a device that does not have the program on it. You may think it is. Anyway, your habits are always with you, and that's a good or a bad thing. But some of the habits that you want to develop are keeping things updated. Your operating system, a lot of the bugs that come in or that are there that are most commonly impacted are the ones on the operating system. So make sure as much as you're able to, and I say this because Windows 10 is terrible in taking a lot of bandwidth, very hard to keep updated. So these are not always capable of being done the way you would like them to do it, but do the best you can. If you can't do it, then some of the other habits that you can develop are even more important. But as much as you're able, keep things up to date. Your operating system and the individually installed programs. The software that you have on your phone, your desktop, your laptop, keep them up to date as much as possible, because the viruses will use the holes in those programs to attack you. It's important to mention here that pirated software is nearly impossible to keep up to date. Most of the other software allows you to update it with a button press. So you can go into the settings and click on something and tell it to update. In the program itself, there's an update button. There's different ways to do it, but it's usually pretty easy to update the software unless it's pirated. Pirated software tends to have the update button, the update feature disabled. And that's because the way you pirate it is you take the key and you use one key for a whole bunch of different computers. When you do the update process usually verifies that the software is legal before it does an update. So the pirates tend to disable that update feature. So it's nearly impossible to keep pirated software updated, which means if you use pirated software, you are more likely opening yourself to the possibility of viruses. So, in summary, viruses are bad. The best way to avoid viruses is to actually have good habits. That's the habits of keeping your devices and computers updated. Be cautious opening files, you know where they come from. Then be cautious opening USB sticks. Again, if you use it day in, day out, you know it doesn't have a virus, but anything that's coming in from the outside, even if you trust the guy, a simple thing to scan it. Just learn to scan those things very regularly. And be careful opening attachments. And I can't say this enough, but people you know and trust, a virus will often send itself from their computer to yours. So it may have their name on it, but if it's not something you're expecting, scan it first. It doesn't take too much to scan it. If you need to, just scan all attachments before they come in, but just make sure that things that are coming from the outside, particularly if it's something that's unexpected, just scan it. It's a very easy thing to do. Just be careful of the data that comes into your system, and you're going to avoid a lot of the viruses that are out there.